let's talk transfers. I mean, we're in the transfer window, undermining the ongoing 2020 World Cup in North America. Um, every big signing, every big money move or transfer that goes to any club in world football always looks like the club had it figured out. I mean, they had their signing, they had their data, they had everything sorted out. This player is worth this amount of money, this big money. I mean, we can look back to signings like Paul Pogba, Jadon Sancho, Anthony of Manchester United. Look back to Fernandes and Caicedo to Chelsea, and more recently, Florian Wirtz and Alexander Isak to Liverpool. Now, when these signings were made, we had highlights as for fans, data for the scouting department and all that, and the club was like, yeah, this thing is worth it, and we'll pull the plug. You sign these players. On paper, it looks good. Potentially, it looks like a great signing. It looks like players that would improve or help these teams. But it has not always gone like that. At least it hasn't gone like that for the likes of the Jadon Sanchos and the Anthony. The Fernandez is a question mark hanging over it as of right now. Caicedo, I think, has delivered. But then you look at the Alexander Isak and the Florian Wirtz of recently, of last season, and you can see that they've not lived up to the expectations. They've not lived up to the big money. And now, this season, we're hearing that Man City have agreed a deal with Nottingham for Elliot Anderson to the tune of £130 million. That is big money. That's huge money. That is breaking the British record, I think. So, when you look at this, you say, yeah, I mean, look at his performance for the last season for Nottingham Forest. He has been very, very good. He has delivered box to box midfielder, attacking, ball retention, ball repossession, and everything. He has ticked all the boxes. And of course, we always knew he was going to move this summer because, I mean, that quality of player should not be playing for a team that's always battling whether they are going to relegate or get relegated. So that move was always expected. But then, when the moves happens and it goes for this kind of amount, then another thing comes into the equation: expectation of fans, expectations of rival fans too. Of course, they're going to be bantered if they don't deliver. So the pressure comes, the pressure to deliver, the pressure to prove that, oh, I am worth this amount of money. It's not about, oh, is he going to deliver? It's going to be about how much is he going to deliver, given the amount that has been paid for him. So now, fast forward down the line, some of these players prove their worth, but most of them don't, and that is the flaw that comes to big money signing. Now there are questions circulating all over chat boxes, reply sections, and all that. Like, is Elliot Anderson worth £130 million? Going into the transfer window, we are thinking around 80 to £100 million. Nottingham Forest has dug and said we're not going to sell below £100 million, and now we're hearing £160 million from Manchester City camp. We're hearing £130 million from the Nottingham Forest camp. And right now, even with the amount paid, there are still inconsistencies about. It's as if Man City is afraid to agree that we bought him for this amount. Maybe to try to pull off some pressure from Ederson or Nottingham Forest being Maranakis. I don't know what's up. Maybe they are just inflating, saying, "Oh, we dogged him and we sold for high." But be that as it may, all these things does not affect the clubs per se. The whole pressure comes to the player itself. I can bet you, England's next game, the whole world will be on Elliot Anderson, how he's going to perform. And after the game, you're going to see commentators like, oh, so that's what they paid for. If he has a bad game, I bet you he's going to be slandered, bantered, and ridiculed. And that's where the pressure start building. Now, a player is going into a field of play, not thinking about, oh, are we going to win today? He's going to think about, how well am I going to perform? How well will that player deal with those pressure? Now, Elliot Anderson has done well at Nottingham Forest, but then the pressure that is attached to playing for Nottingham Forest is different from playing for Manchester City at the top of the table or in European competitions. So this player is going to have to deal with this pressure every other day. Now, is he going to make or break them? That's where this whole thing comes down to. So I think that's why I don't like big money signings most times, because it puts a whole lot of pressure on these players. And some of them, they might not be able to deal with it. We don't even know what kind of pressures they face on their own private life, personal lives. Then you add this pressure from 100 million strangers around the world wanting you to live up to an amount of money that you had no say in deciding how much you're going to be moved, because at the end of the day, this club views you as assets, not a human being. So you had no say in what was going to be paid for you. But at the end of the day, you are the one that has to deliver to that amount. So I don't know. What do you think about big money signings? Do you think Elliot Anderson is worth £130 million? Because I don't think he is. I feel 100 million, 80 to 90 million pounds was a fair price. But then Nottingham Forest dug deep. Elliot Anderson does not have a say for how much he's going to be sold. Now he has been sold. The pressure is on. Do you think he's going to be able to live up to these expectations? Do you think he's going to crack? Do you think he's worth that money? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section.